Heartwarming journey revealed: Black woman exposes billionaire's mockery by canceling $3 billion deal. Every morning, as the sun kissed the edges of the city skyline, Maya Johnson, a fierce single mother, opened the doors to her cherished bakery, Sweet Serenity. The aroma of freshly baked bread danced through the air, mingling with the laughter of children and the chatter of neighbors. For generations, her family had poured love and sweat into this place, making it the heart and soul of the community. Here, between the flour-dusted counters and the warm ovens, Maya found solace and a sense of purpose, crafting each pastry with care, knowing they brought comfort to those around her. Yet, as the costs of living rose like yeast in her beloved dough, Maya felt the weight of the world on her shoulders. Raising her son, Malik, alone was no easy feat, and each bill felt like a mountain to climb. Just when the pressure was mounting to unbearable heights, an unexpected opportunity appeared. A billionaire named Victor Reynolds wanted to buy her bakery for a staggering $3 billion. It sounded like a dream, yet a gut feeling warned her that dreams come with chains attached. "Imagine what you could do with that money," her friends said, their eyes wide with possibility. Promises of a better life filled her head, the thought of Malik going to the best schools and having a bright future. But the laughter that filled her bakery began to feel overshadowed by the weight of his intentions. The more she learned about Victor, the more she realized he saw her and her bakery not as treasures but as stepping stones to expand his empire. He didn't value what Sweet Serenity truly represented. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Despite the temptation, the thought of cashing in while losing her family legacy sparked a fierceness in Maya's heart. In a heated confrontation, she exposed Victor's mockery before a packed cafe, her hands trembling but words strong. "You think you can buy my dreams and my community? I refuse to be a pawn in your game." Gasps filled the air. Her words ignited a fire within her neighbors' activists, local leaders, patrons who had loved Sweet Serenity for years. As voices rose in solidarity, it became clear this was about more than just a bakery. It was a stand for respect and dignity. Stories of struggle and resilience echoed through the room, each voice a testament to the community they had built together. Yet doubt clawed at Maya. Was she ready for this fight? What if it led to losing everything her family built? She felt their eyes, filled with hope, waiting for her leadership. The ground shook with the spirit of unity as chants broke out in support of Maya. She harnessed the energy, realizing her call was bigger than herself. It was for the countless hands that had kneaded dough beside her, for all the stories simmering in the ovens of her community. But as whispers of retaliation from Victor loomed large, the stakes tightened around her like a noose. Maya stood on the brink of an uncertain future, the question lingering in the air: would her unwavering spirit be enough to combat an empire eyes wide open to silence her story? The pungent aroma of bread mixed with a different scent today, the unmistakable tang of rebellion. The battle was just beginning. The days following Maya's showdown with Victor were a whirlwind. Word spread through the neighborhood like wildfire, each whisper sparking greater momentum. People rallied, offering support, and community meetings buzzed with fervor and anticipation. The city was alive with discussions about Sweet Serenity, transforming the bakery into a symbol of resistance. Maya worked tirelessly, her hands mixing batter while her mind spun with thoughts of strategy. Each baking session was a reminder that the essence of her business was not just in the pastries made but in the stories shared and friendships formed. With every loaf she pulled from the oven, she felt a little stronger, bolstered by the community surrounding her. But she could not ignore the gnawing anxiety below the surface. Victor wasn't the kind of man to back down easily, and with each passing day, she sensed his presence lurking, waiting for the right moment to strike back. It was a constant game of chess, and right now, Maya was determined to play every piece wisely. One evening, As she closed up shop, Malik wandered into the bakery, his little hands covered in flour. He always found a way to lift her spirits, and his innocent smile made her heart swell. "Mom, can I help with baking tomorrow? I want to make those cookies everyone loves," he said, his eyes sparkling with excitement. "Of course, baby. You can be my sous chef." Maya chuckled, her heart feeling light. The simplicity of those moments made the weight of the world seem a little lighter. But as she ruffled his hair, a shadow of uncertainty crossed her mind. Would she still have this bakery to share with him tomorrow? The next day brought crowds to the bakery, filled with voices and laughter. Friends dropped by to lend a hand, and neighbors offered words of encouragement. They signed petitions against Victor's plans, inspired by Maya's bravery. She realized this fight could be their collective stance against gentrification that threatened to erase their history. It wasn't just about sweet serenity. It was about protecting a legacy. Yet, as the day wore on, tensions emerged. A few patrons, emboldened by the news, hinted at boycotting anyone connected with Victor. Maya felt a knot tighten in her stomach. While she appreciated their loyalty, she knew that anger could create an even larger divide within the community. That evening, in a meeting with local leaders, Maya expressed her concern. "We can't let this become a war that tears us apart," she urged. "We should stand strong, yes, but with grace." Her voice resonated with truth, silencing any simmering tensions. They needed unity, not division, to show Victor they cherished their roots. Malik tugged on her sleeve, pulling her attention away from the heated discussions. "Mom, maybe we can invite him to see how special our bakery is," he suggested, his innocent view brightening the room. Laughter erupted, but a flicker of inspiration sparked in Maya's heart. What if they took the initiative? What if showing Victor the community's spirit would sway him to see their value differently? The plan formed quickly, layering optimism upon the fear that gripped her heart. They would invite Victor to the bakery for a community celebration, showcasing not just the pastries but the love and stories behind them. It was risky. The thought made her pulse race. As the details came together, hope intertwined with uncertainty. But could one gathering truly change Victor's mind? What if it failed? The unease gnawed at her. Would risking it all put sweet serenity in greater peril? Maya closed her eyes for a moment, steadying her breath. Whatever the outcome, she knew one thing for certain: sweet serenity would stand, and she would fight for every precious moment it represented. The time was coming to confront the man who saw her dreams as mere opportunities, but could she pull it off without putting everything at risk? The day of the community celebration dawned bright and hopeful. Vibrant banners waved gently in the breeze, and the air was filled with the sweet smell of cinnamon and vanilla as Maya prepared for the gathering. The bakery, usually a cozy retreat, transformed into a bustling hub of color and laughter. Tables were adorned with freshly baked cookies, pies, and cakes, each a testament to the love and labor of the neighborhood. Maya moved through the crowd, her heart swelling with pride as friends and families mingled, excitement radiating from their smiles. She could feel a collective energy, a determined spirit that made her chest tighten with joy and fear. What if Victor showed up and dismissed their efforts? Her fingers trembled as she wiped flour from her apron. "Mom, look!" Malik yelled, his laughter echoing across the room as he raced toward a group of children. They were already diving into a mountain of cookies, their faces powdered with sugar. He turned back, eyes wide with happiness, and in that moment, the weight of her worries lifted. This wasn't just a celebration for her bakery. It was for everyone who shared a piece of this life. As the hour approached when she'd present Victor with the invitation, nerves danced in her stomach. The door jingled, and each sound made her jump. Would it be him this time? Just then, Anna, her closest friend, placed a hand on her shoulder. "You're doing the right thing, Maya. Let him see the heart of this place." Her voice held warmth, filling Maya with a sense of calm. "Thanks, Anna. I just hope he understands." Maya's voice trailed off. Would he see the community she loved, or would he only see a business to conquer? The moment finally arrived. Victor stepped through the door, and the room quieted. His confident stride seemed to absorb the light around him. For a heartbeat, Maya's heart sank. What if they'd made a mistake? But then she recalled the laughter of her son, the warmth of the community, and she straightened her back. They deserved this chance. Victor, she called out, moving toward him. The crowd watched silently, holding their breath. Welcome to sweet serenity. He smirked, glancing around the decorated space. I didn't expect anything like this. A party for a bakery in a rundown neighborhood? His words stung, a reminder of everything they were fighting against. Maya took a deep breath, her heart racing, but she couldn't give in to his derision. It's more than just a bakery. It's our community, our history. These pastries tell stories of generations. I wanted to share that with you. She gestured to the tables, her voice gaining strength with every word. Each of these treats has a memory, and each of these people has a connection to this place. Victor's smile faltered for just a moment as he surveyed the faces around him. Confusion flickered in his eyes, replaced quickly by his usual indifference. People love cookies, Maya. That doesn't mean it's a sustainable business model. His laughter didn't reach his eyes, and an uneasy murmur rippled through the crowd. But Maya pressed on, determination surging through her. It doesn't have to be just about money and bottom lines. It's about heart. These people will fight for this place, and you'll see that. The tension hung thick as she awaited his reply, and in just that split second, she felt the weight of every patron in the room. They'd all placed their hopes on her shoulders. Victor opened his mouth to speak, but then a small voice piped up. It was Malik, standing a step behind her, clutching a cookie as big as his face. Mr. Victor, will you try this cookie? It's the best ever. His innocent enthusiasm pierced the heaviness in the air. Laughter erupted, laughter that danced with defiance. But how would Victor respond? Maya's heart raced. Could a single cookie sway a billion-dollar decision? Would it really change anything? As Victor reached for the cookie, the energy shifted, simmering with possibilities. Would he bite into something more than just a treat? And what would be the aftermath of this encounter? The room waited, breath held tight with anticipation. Victor's fingers brushed against the cookie, the oversized confection crumbling slightly at the edges. The weight of the moment felt monumental, like the stillness before a storm. Maya held her breath, her heart pounding as Victor's expression slid defensively between mock amusement and grudging curiosity. Why not? He said, smirking just enough to betray a hint of intrigue. He took a small bite, the cookie seemingly defiant in its softness, bursting with flavors of brown sugar and hints of cinnamon. For an instant, everything else faded. The vibrant buzz of celebration, the hopeful faces in the crowd, even Malik's wide eyes, everything paused. Victor chewed, his jaw working methodically. It felt like an eternity as he processed the flavors. Maya's stomach twisted with anticipation. Would he dismiss it? Would he find it laughable? But then, something unexpected happened. A flicker of surprise crossed his face, followed by a slow smile. Wow, he said, almost incredulous. This is good? Malik interjected, bouncing on his feet, seemingly unaware of Victor's earlier jabs. Victor laughed, a genuine sound that broke through the tension. Yeah, it's really good. The room erupted into scattered cheer, the crowd surprised by this turn of events. Maya couldn't help but allow a small, hopeful smile to play on her lips. Victor glanced around, eyes lingering on the people who had poured their hearts into this celebration. All right, let's see what else you've got. He reached for another cookie, and the crowd erupted in applause, relieved tension melting into joy. In that moment, Maya felt a shift. Maybe he was beginning to understand. Perhaps a taste of sweetness could alter his perception, finally show him the heart behind the bakery's existence. Victor turned to Maya, holding up the cookie as if it were a trophy. Let's talk about this place. I see the potential, sure. But let us also talk about how to make it more than just cookies. His voice retained a touch of skepticism but lacked the harsh edge from moments before. Maya's heart fluttered. More than just cookies? What did you have in mind? He leaned closer, drawing her in with ideas while the crowd buzzed with excitement. They listened, hanging on every word. This was more than a conversation between two people. It felt like a dialogue between dreams and realities, hopes for the future grazing against the hard truths of business. Anna squeezed her hand, and Maya glanced at her friend, sharing a look of disbelief mixed with cautious optimism. Could this actually be the pivot they had yearned for? As Victor laid out plans that danced between enterprise and community vision, whispers of hope fluttered like fireflies glowing in the dusky evening air. Yet, in the back of Maya's mind, shadows loomed. What if his ideas came at a cost? A slip towards commercialization that could overshadow the very heart they admired? What price were they willing to pay? The celebration continued, joy bubbling up like the dough in her oven, yet Maya remained tethered between exhilaration and doubt. The stakes felt infinite as they discussed timelines and projections, palpable excitement weaving through the community like an unseen thread. Just then, Victor paused, a sly grin breaking through his earlier reserve. And you know, Maya, maybe we can even offer cookie classes right here. It could draw in the crowds. Her breath hitched, caught between excitement and uncertainty. What if Victor's plans actually succeeded, but at the expense of everything she cherished? As laughter and chatter filled the bakery, she caught Malik's eyes bright and full of mischief. "Can I teach the cookie classes, Mom?" he asked eagerly, his innocence painting the conversation in a different light. Maya chuckled lightly, trying to ignore the prickle of anxiety in her chest. "Let us just focus on making sure we keep the spirit alive." And just like that, the future buzzed around them, each moment pregnant with possibility. But as they ventured further into planning, one chilling thought crept into her mind: would this new partnership transform sweet serenity into something she didn't recognize? As they gathered for a group photo, all smiles and hope, Maya couldn't shake her unease. Where would this journey ultimately lead them? Before she could dwell too deeply, Victor's booming laughter pulled her back, but in her heart, the question lingered. Would they be able to take this chance without losing themselves in the process? As the camera flashed and community gathered close, the path ahead seemed both vibrant and fraught with uncertainty. As the camera clicked and laughter filled the air, the warmth of the bakery engulfed Maya. Yet, beneath the facade of joy, unease began to tangle with her thoughts. Victor's plans, while enticing, felt like a double-edged sword. She wanted to believe in their vision, but that vision could lead sweet serenity down a path she was not ready to tread. "I still can't believe he liked your cookies," Anna said, nudging Maya playfully. "You know, this could really change everything." Maya forced a smile, but inside, her mind raced. "Change isn't always good, Anna. What if it changes us into something we don't recognize?" Anna shrugged. "Maybe it's a chance for something better? I mean, look at everyone around us. They're happy. It's a start, right?" Maya glanced at the crowd, their smiling faces, the children clutching cookies, the chatter of old friends reconnecting. Everything seemed fine on the surface, yet she couldn't shake the feeling that something was shifting, and not necessarily for the best. As Victor wrapped up the planning discussion with a lively pitch about cookie classes, the crowd cheered again, caught up in the contagious energy he exuded. Maya's heart sank a little more with every whoop of enthusiasm. What would it feel like to have people in their store vying for attention in a classroom setting? Would they still have time to sit and savor life with those who truly mattered? "Let us celebrate," Victor announced as he raised a cookie above his head like a trophy yet again. "To new beginnings! To new beginnings!" echoed the crowd, and Maya offered a half-hearted cheer, feeling the weight of resistance settle in her chest. What kind of new beginning was this really? One that could push them toward commercialization while losing the essence of community she cherished? Malik bounded over, triumphantly clutching a cookie in each hand. "Mom! Can I help with the cookie classes? I can show them how to do the sprinkles just right." His innocent enthusiasm was a priceless thing, painting over her doubts, yet the worry thrummed louder. "Why not?" Victor answered before she could respond, turning to the boy with sparkling eyes. "You'd be a fantastic teacher, Malik. Just think of all the fun you'll have." Maya's heart swelled with pride for her son but twisted with apprehension. She wanted to protect this space for Malik, making sure he didn't lose sight of the simple joys that came from their baking tradition. As the evening wore on, snippets of conversation floated around them, visions of cupcake competitions, cookie-themed events, and extended hours. Excitement ran rampant, shadowing her creeping sense of discomfort. Could they keep the heart of sweet serenity alive amidst this whirlwind of ambition? When the last photo was captured, and the crowd began to disperse, Maya turned to Victor. "We need to talk about what this means for us." He looked at her with a mix of curiosity and incredulity. "What do you mean? We're building something huge here." "Yes, but please, let us take a moment to consider if this is what we really want." Her voice wavered, desperation masked by determination. Victor opened his mouth to protest, but then his brows furrowed. He studied her for a moment, perhaps sensing there were depths to this conversation he hadn't fully grasped. "Okay, let us talk. But I think you'll see things differently once we start getting the ball rolling." The sincerity in his eyes offered a glimmer of hope, but in the silence that followed, Maya wondered, what if compromises were made along the way that would irreversibly alter the essence of the place they had built? As they both took a seat at one of the small tables, surrounded by the lingering scent of cookies and fresh coffee, the atmosphere felt charged. They were on the brink of something monumental, yet the question hovered over them, a question so fragile, yet so powerful. In the pursuit of reaching for the stars, what were they willing to sacrifice? Before she could voice her thoughts, Malik burst into the room, eyes alight with excitement. "Mom, I had the best idea. What if we made a special cookie with a secret ingredient?" Maya raised an eyebrow, instantly intrigued. A secret ingredient? Her mind was already swirling with possibilities, but beneath it all, a tingle of apprehension remained. It was a reminder that while the horizon looked vivid with potential, the hidden depths of their journey could reveal costs yet unknown. As Malik eagerly began describing his vision, Maya felt a knot in her stomach. Would delight linger long enough for her to uncover the truth before it was too late? Or would she have to make a decision that could cost them everything they held dear? Maya leaned closer to Malik, who was animatedly demonstrating how to combine ingredients for their proposed cookie. Her heart raced with conflicting emotions. Sweet Serenity had always been about family, warmth, and baking together. But now, with the whirlwind of change looming around them, she couldn't help but feel as if they were teetering on the edge of something unknown. "Okay, buddy, what's this secret ingredient?" she asked, trying to hide the worry in her voice. Malik scrunched his nose in concentration, the excitement in his eyes shining brighter than ever. "What if we used honey from that farm down the road? You know, the one with the cute bees? It'll make it taste super sweet." "That sounds amazing, Malik," Maya responded, genuinely impressed. "It could give this cookie a special twist." Malik beamed, his enthusiasm infectious, washing away some of her apprehension. This was the heart of Sweet Serenity, the simple joys they found in the kitchen, creating magic from everyday ingredients. Could this balance be sculpted into the vision Victor had laid out? Victor entered the room, a whirlwind of energy. "I overheard. Great idea, Malik. But let us make it even bigger. How about calling it Malik's Magic Honey Cookies? We could sell them at the classes." The name sent a ripple of warmth through Maya, but her apprehension quickly mulled over the commercial twist that accompanied it. "Victor, wait, what if we make sure this stays true to what we've built? We don't want it to be just a marketing ploy." Victor leaned back, crossing his arms. "Maya, this is a great opportunity for all of us. You know what that means, expanding our reach, sharing the love of baking with more people. This is more than just us now." With each word, Maya felt the distance between them grow. It wasn't only about expanding Sweet Serenity anymore. It seemed they were diving into something much deeper, a race toward success that could potentially drown their original values. "But what if we lose the soul of what we're doing? Isn't that worth protecting?" she pressed, searching Victor's face for understanding. "I get it, but it's about finding a balance. We can do both. We can keep our values while also growing," he replied, a fire igniting in his eyes. The tension in the air crackled with emotions, passion, frustration, and an unyielding hope for the future. Maya felt Malik tugging at her skirt, eyes wide with anticipation. Mom, it can be our big adventure. Adventure. The word conjured images of treasure hunts, exploring new paths in baking, and sharing loving memories with their community. But was the definition of adventure shifting? What would it mean for them if they took this plunge? Maya sat back, weighing her thoughts carefully. She could already hear the voices of those who had once gathered at Sweet Serenity, parents laughing, children sharing crumbs of cookies, and friends exchanging stories over coffee. Would those precious moments be lost if they raced toward personal success? Here's the thing, Maya finally said, her heart pounding. What if we include our roots in this? What if the magic we sell comes from our family? We want Malik's Magic Honey Cookies to tell our story, not just be another product on the market. Victor nodded slowly, realizing the weight of her words. You mean we could showcase the journey of every ingredient? Maybe combine it with baking classes sharing stories behind each recipe? As they brainstormed, a spark ignited within Maya. It was hope, intertwining with caution. This could still be their creation while embracing the new. But the nagging feeling remained. Was it enough to safeguard the community they cherished? Just then, the door swung open again, revealing one of their regular customers. I heard about the cookie classes. Count me in, said a familiar voice, bringing the glow of positivity back into the room. The excitement was palpable, yet Maya found herself frozen in contemplation. In the midst of brewing ideas and aspirations, was the longing for familiarity sufficient to keep the heart of Sweet Serenity beating strong against the tides of change? As they began to build on this new idea, questions swirled in Maya's mind. How could they balance their traditions with the thrust of ambition? And at what cost would success come? Just then, Malik looked up from his doodles, a serious expression on his face. We just have to make sure the cookies taste like home, right? Maya nodded, but an aching uncertainty loomed. Could they truly find their way back home amidst the chaos of growth? The journey ahead remained unpredictable, but one thing was certain: they were facing a pivotal moment. What started as a simple cookie could transform into the symbol of their legacy, a legacy that had the power to change everything, for better or worse. Would they embrace the risk or hold tightly onto the past? As they moved forward, Maya felt a growing urgency in her heart, a need for clarity. Could they shape the future without sacrificing what made their past worth preserving? The answers awaited them, but hearts whispered a different question: what if this adventure unraveled more than they could imagine? Maya's mind swirled as she glanced back at Malik, who was now vigorously sketching ideas for their cookie labels. Each stroke of his pencil seemed to contain all the promise and innocence of childhood dreams, grounding her just enough to confront the doubts creeping into her mind. But what would happen when those dreams collided with reality? Mom, can we add glitter to the labels? Like magic! Malik exclaimed, his enthusiasm shining. Maya forced a smile, responding, maybe just a bit of sparkle, sweetie. We want them to feel special, not overwhelmed. Victor chimed in, and with the story behind the cookies, they'll feel that warmth even before tasting them. The labels can have snippets of our journey. It was true, sharing their story could deepen the connection with the community. But how much of their story would they be able to share if it transformed into a business model? Why don't we invite the families to join our first class free of charge? Maya suggested, her heart racing at the thought. We can make it a community event. It'll give people a taste, literally, of what Sweet Serenity stands for. Victor's face brightened, his eyes glinting with excitement. I love that. And it would add authenticity. We can talk about the honey, the farms. The air hung heavy with potential. Maya felt her heart skip a beat. This could be more than just a bake sale. It could strengthen their community ties, reminding everyone of the connections forged over flour and sugar. Malik's voice broke through her thoughts. What if we made a big poster about the honey farm? And had a picture of the bees? Maya's heart swelled with pride. They were already thinking like a team, and there was joy in seeing Malik's imagination take flight. Brilliant! She exclaimed. We can emphasize the importance of local farms and how every ingredient has a story. It could even create a sense of responsibility in our community. Just then, the front door swung open again, this time revealing Ms. Jenkins, the elderly neighbor who often brought them fresh vegetables from her garden. Her eyes twinkled with the wisdom of experience. "What's all this buzz about cookies?" "We're having a class, Ms. Jenkins." "You should come." Malik jumped up, breathless with excitement. "Cookies, you say? Count me in." "There's nothing quite like a warm cookie shared among friends," she replied, her voice rich and warm. Maya could see the reality of her worries beginning to shift as the first whispers of their new venture lined up with the heart of sweet serenity. The warmth of the community instantly soothed her fears. But deep down, uncertainty still gnawed at her. Could they genuinely mold this new venture into something that honored their foundational values? Would they still be able to weave a story filled with warmth and love while chasing this burgeoning dream? "Mom?" Malik interrupted her thoughts once again, his brow furrowing. "Will people still come back if we grow bigger? What if they forget it was us who made them happy with cookies?" Maya's heart ached at his words. "That's why we have to keep our hearts in the baking. As long as each cookie carries a piece of who we are, they won't forget," she reassured him, though uncertainty lingered in her voice. Victor leaned closer, sensing the weight of the unspoken fears. "We'll adapt, Maya. We can still hold on to our roots while welcoming new faces. Let us create a space where stories are shared, not lost." The room filled with an anticipatory atmosphere, igniting a spark of hope in Maya's heart. The idea of collaboration and compassion intertwined had never felt more alive than it did at that moment. But as they all gathered around the table, moving ahead with plans, a silent question hung heavy in the air: could they maintain sweet serenity's essence while stepping into a new world of possibilities? As they mapped out their ideas, laughter filled the space, but that uncertainty lingered like an uninvited guest. Would they be able to tell their story and not lose themselves in the process? And did they have the strength to face whatever changes unfolded? Before them, the ambition of success loomed, but at what cost? As they stood on the brink of something new, Maya felt a defining heartbeat echo within her. Would they emerge stronger, or would the winds of change whip away the very fabric of their family's legacy? The answer awaited them just beyond the horizon of their new endeavor. The next few days passed in a whirlwind of preparations. The sun broke through the clouds as if blessing their efforts. Maya felt an exhilarating rush as ideas bloomed like spring flowers in her mind. Each new plan revealed itself as another step toward their goal. The kitchen buzzed with energy, laughter, and the sweet aroma of melting butter and sugar. "Mom, can we make the cookies in shapes of hearts?" Malik suggested one afternoon, his eyes sparkling with creativity. "Perfect. That'll tie in beautifully with the idea of love in every bite," she replied, heart warming at his passion. Victor piped in, "And the kids will love it. Who doesn't want to snack on a cookie shaped like a heart?" Maya couldn't shake the underlying tension that this was all still a big leap. What if they were getting ahead of themselves? The thought made her pause. She turned to the recipe she had laid out, the words shimmering like a guide through her uncertainties. As the days rolled on, the anticipation of the free class grew. They plastered the neighborhood with bright flyers, and enthusiasm soon spread like wildfire. Everyone from the young to the old began murmuring about the event, sharing their excitement like secrets wrapped in sugar. Then came the day of the community event, bright and still, the scent of cookies wafting through the air like an invitation. Families streamed into the backyard, bringing with them a story to tell, each person a part of the unfolding narrative. Maya stood by the makeshift table, heart racing as she watched the families gather. Laughter echoed from every corner, and soon children sprawled across the yard, each holding a heart-shaped sugar cookie. It was surreal. She couldn't quite believe it. Here they were, doing what they dreamed, surrounded by warmth and laughter that felt like home. "Can we make frosting now?" Malik asked, bouncing on his heels. "Yes. Let us turn this into a canvas too," Maya replied, her spirit lifting with each smile around her. As they decorated the cookies, Malik embraced the moment, telling the other kids about the honey farm and all the sweet details of their journey. The way his words flowed, The pride evident in his voice filled Maya with a joy that was hard to contain. Then Ms. Jenkins approached, a plate of freshly picked strawberries in hand. "This homemade jam would pair beautifully with your cookies," she said kindly, her face illuminated by a gentle smile. The kindness of the community enveloped Maya, dimming her earlier anxieties. For a moment, everything felt right, just like the cookies baking in the oven. But as the sun began to dip below the horizon, casting shadows over the smiles, a new reality started to creep in. People savored their treats, exchanging stories about their lives and experiences as they dipped into the homemade jam. The atmosphere was alive, but a nagging thought lurked at the back of Maya's mind: was this too good to last? Would they be able to sustain this connection when more orders came in, when the demands of their business tugged at them, distracted them from the heart of why they started? As dusk settled, Malik grabbed her hand and said, "Did you see how much fun everyone is having? They'll always remember this." Maya smiled, but it didn't erase the doubt. She needed to believe they could keep this alive, that they wouldn't trade joy for numbers. Victor squeezed her shoulder, sensing her conflict. "We're in this together, Maya. We'll figure it out." As fireflies began to dance along the edges of the yard, illuminating the faces of family and friends, Maya took a deep breath. The moment felt blurry yet crystal clear. All at once a transformation was brewing. But looming beneath the surface was a question that felt heavier than all the cookies combined. Were they truly ready for what this dream could evolve into? And just like that, a car skidded outside, music blaring, breaking her reverie. The sound echoed, signaling a new chapter that would challenge everything they'd built together. What awaited them now? The sudden crash of the car door and the thumping bass of the music jolted Maya from her thoughts. She turned to see a group of young adults spilling out of the vehicle, laughter and raucous energy radiating off them. They were strangers, completely out of sync with the warm, familial vibe that had taken root in her backyard. Malik pulled on her sleeve. "Mom, who are they?" "I'm not sure, sweetie," she replied, her heartbeat quickening. The unfamiliarity prickled under her skin. Maya exchanged glances with Victor, who shifted uncomfortably at the unexpected intrusion. As the newcomers approached, Maya caught snippets of their conversation. They were clearly excited about something, plans for a party, it seemed. One girl with electric blue hair was waving her phone, shouting about TikTok and putting them on the map. The last thing she wanted was for their heartfelt gathering to be overshadowed by a whirlwind of disruptive chaos. "Hey, can we join?" the girl called out, her smile bright and genuine, yet somehow overwhelming. Maya hesitated, glancing at her makeshift gathering of families and children adorned with frosting-smeared faces. She wanted to say no, to protect this special moment. But deep down, she knew what it meant to reach out, to welcome others into the fold just as Ms. Jenkins had with her jam. Sure. There's plenty of cookies and frosting for everyone," Maya replied tentatively, her voice softer than she intended. In a flash, the blue-haired girl lit up and bounded over, pulling her crew along with her. They fanned out among the children, which flirted between excitement and apprehension. Some looked up at the newcomers wide-eyed, while others giggled nervously. Victor stepped in, showing them how to decorate cookies. The energy shifted again, laughter mingling with a hint of confusion unfolding among the small group. Maya stood aside for a moment, taking it all in. Was this the change she'd worried about? Or an integration that could enhance their community spirit even further? But as she watched them joyful, it became clear that the newcomers were simply looking for connection. They were here for fun, just like everyone else. As moments passed, joy flickered like fireflies, a blend of hearts and cookies and friends and laughter. Then a shadow crossed her face as the thought crept back in, dark and lurking. What if their introduction changed everything? What if this electric energy pulled them in directions she didn't foresee? "Can we make cookies in wild shapes next?" one of the new kids shouted, inspiration swirling in the air like the sweet smell of baked treats. "That could be a blast." Malik jumped in, eyes shining with excitement. "We could make them in the shapes of animals." Maya's heart swelled with hope. Maybe this interruption wasn't the beginning of the end, it could be the start of something wonderful. Yet still, questions lingered like the smudge of flour on her apron. What would this mean for their business? Would the dynamic shift? Would the love they poured into this event fade amid the new noise? Just as she gathered the courage to speak up, the girl with blue hair grabbed her phone and began filming, chanting for a dance challenge they could all join in on. Maya felt her stomach twist, already fearing the chaos that would envelop their tranquil afternoon. In a matter of moments, the scene morphed into laughter and shenanigans. Yet beneath the joyful bursts, Maya could sense the pressure mounting. Change loomed, unpredictable yet tantalizing. Would they emerge with a stronger bond, or would they find themselves chasing trends instead of nurturing the roots they'd carefully planted? With the rioting energy swirling around her, she felt a knot tighten in her chest. "Let us see where this leads," she murmured, half to herself, half to Victor, who caught her gaze with a knowing nod, and then, as if to answer her unease, a tall figure appeared at the edge of the yard, a solemn expression on his face. Maya squinted, feeling the chill sweep in. Who could it be, and why did it look like he carried news she wasn't ready to hear? The unexpected figure approached, towering above the cheers and laughter, his expression grave. It was Mr. Thompson, the neighborhood council president. Maya's heart dropped. In moments like these, news from a councilman typically spelled trouble. He cleared his throat, and the music quickly faded, the buzz of celebration stifled by rising unease. "Sorry to interrupt, everyone," he began, scanning the gathering, "but I have an important announcement regarding Sweet Serenity." Maya felt breathless. "Mr. Thompson, we're just having a family celebration," she interjected, but he held up a hand gently. "I know, and I appreciate the unending community spirit in this backyard," he said, his voice firm yet compassionate. "But I need everyone to hear this. There have been complaints about noise levels and safety concerns for the street while the city is reviewing Victor's proposed development plan for this area." Maya's heart sank, the warmth of the moment slipping away as mutters rippled through the crowd. Voices rose, whispering fears about their beloved bakery. Would they really be at risk again, just as they were starting to build this new chapter? "Hey now, hold on!" Victor exclaimed, stepping forward. "We're not here to cause trouble. We're promoting community through cookies." The crowd murmured their support, but doubt hung thick in the air. Maya felt cold dread wash over her. It was as if shadows had begun creeping back into her sunny afternoon. Would they really push through just to be silenced by a mere complaint? Would the very dreams they were nurturing be taken away? "Look," Mr. Thompson said, his gaze softening, "I'm a fan of Sweet Serenity, and I know what it means to our community. But you have to understand, we need to find a way to balance progress and tradition. If you want to call a meeting and address these issues, I'd be happy to help facilitate discussions with local authorities to ensure we find a beneficial resolution." Maya's mind raced. Unrealized fears clashed against the bravery of the families gathered before her. They had fought to keep their community together, pouring their hearts and history into the very place that had served them over generations. Would she be ready to speak up, to ensure their voices resonated loud and clear above the chaos surrounding them? "Thanks, Mr. Thompson," Maya replied, her voice steadier than she felt. "We appreciate it. You're right, we need to protect our legacy." The crowd seemed to rally around her, a sense of renewed determination washing over them. Maya knew they would find strength in unity, just as they always had. "Let us show them who we are, one cookie at a time," she said, her voice rising to spark their spirits. The soft glow of the evening fell around them, bathing her in the resolve of 1,000 moments shared through dough and frosting. Victor caught her eye, his approval evident. As the mingling chatter of ideas echoed around them, Maya felt the fabric of her heart woven tighter, stronger together. "Let us call a community meeting at the bakery this week," she continued, rallying the group. "Let us share our stories, our challenges, and our visions to keep Sweet Serenity exactly what it should be, a home." An electrifying wave of support surged, and cheers erupted from neighbors, families, and her kindred spirits. Maya felt Malik tugging at her skirt again, his eyes shining. "Can I help make the banner for our meeting, Mom? Like Save Sweet Serenity?" Maya smiled wide, pride swelling in her chest. "Absolutely, buddy. That's perfect. They gathered around, throwing ideas into the air like sprinkles dancing in wind, laughter mingling with hope as they took steps toward action. Mr. Thompson's words shifted something within her, turning fear into momentum, transforming uncertainty into a powerful call to arms. Later that night, as they wrapped up the event, the glow in the bakery felt like a lantern against the darkening sky. Each cookie they shared, every laughter ringing through the walls, reaffirmed their shared mission. Maya could see clearly now, fresh possibilities spread out before her, glimmering like the numerous candles on a birthday cake. Together, they would fight for sweet serenity, a place that meant so much more than just a bakery. It was a heartbeat, a legacy, and a fight for their dreams. The next day began with the fresh morning sun bouncing off the glazed pastries, but Maya was already ahead of the curve. She knew now that her spirit ran deeper than the surface possibilities Victor held, and she was resolute. She wasn't just baking cookies, she was building futures, a legacy shaped by love, not greed. Because there was nothing sweeter than home. So, if you're moved by Maya's journey and her fight for what she holds dear, you need to subscribe now. This is the moment to show your support for tales of bravery and transformation. Hit that like button now to feed the algorithm that brings these stories to life. I want to hear from you, so leave a comment about how this ending made you feel. Let's share in this experience together. Don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this beautiful transformation.